off. We are 5 minutes into the whole thing. And just for a very short time, I will just show my face and then lock it off. I think it really also helps in terms of bandwidth in certain instances. Doesn't really matter. I just want to say hello, and then we're just going to kick in with the session.
Sure, fantastic. So I think, Mimi, if you can then just do your presentation, and if everybody can just allow you to do your presentation first and ask questions afterwards. So if you have any questions, just write them along, and then when Mimi is done, we can then ask whatever questions we want. Thank you, guys.
So my presentation is very unique. It's not going to be as detailed as folk would have, anticipated. But be that as it may, I am sure that, and the reason being is I think it is sometimes very easy for people just to lose touch. But anyway, let's just get on with it. I'm just going to start really by explaining and describing to the participants exactly what Zakhelikhaya is. It looks like I closed what Zakhelikhaya is. Let me just find it again. Here we go. I'll be speaking, Zakhelikhaya, some of you may or may not know, this is a concept that I presented to Cashbuild quite a while back, actually even before COVID. And so I'll be speaking really from the heart, I think beyond anything. So it's a housing assistance program initiated by Cashbuild addressing really critical housing shortages in South Africa. And by this, we are hoping to provide accessible housing to specifically the Cashbuild consumer base. Now, many individuals within this demographic are unaware of their eligibility for subsidies provided by the NHFC, now called First Home Finance. Specifically, this is tailored for first home buyers earning between 3,501 and 22,000. And for those that are really familiar with the subsidy program, I do apologize because there are probably individuals that may think they know, because this obviously started, according to the NHFC, I think in 2003 or 2008. So recognizing this gap and in awareness and support, Cashbuild partnered with Capitec Bank to bridge the financial shortfall that may arise during the home construction process. Through this collaboration, funds from both the subsidy as well as loan proceeds are deposited into an account, Cashbuild account, ensuring seamless and streamlined approach to financing home construction projects. Now, one of the key features from a Zakhelikhaya standpoint is the provision of customizable plan options, allowing customers to select designs that suit their preference and needs. So these building plans were costed, ensuring transparency and affordability throughout the construction process. By offering comprehensive support and financial assistance, Zakhelikhaya actually empowers individuals to realize their dream of home ownership, contributing to the alleviation of this massive housing shortage that we find ourselves in the South African context. Now, just to take everyone back, when we started with this process, at the time, the First Home Finance was actually referred to as the FLISP, the Finance Linked Individual Subsidy Program. And it was really tailored and targeted towards those people that qualify for bonds. Now, in my observation of customer behavior at the store level, I actually observed a lot of our customers actually making building material purchases utilizing personal loans. So it was somehow quite obscene. And I'm using the word, obviously, obscene, because that's really, really how I viewed this whole process. And so in engaging with the customers, I would want to find out from them exactly what it is that they are utilizing these funds for. And a lot of them would say, well, I'm finishing up my house, I'm extending a house, I'm starting construction of a new house. And then delving in deeper into the conversation with the customer. So why are you not getting a bond? I do not qualify for a bond. So with having a lot of property practitioners here, we are sitting with 1.6 million registered bonds in this country. And what is the population of this country? 60 million. If an average household, I say, comprises of, say, of 4 people, when you actually do the maths, 60 million people, household of 4. So essentially, I'll quickly do my maths there.
Sorry, Mimi, are you meant to be showing us something, a presentation?
No, I showed,
No.
no.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So essentially, we are looking at about an opportunity of about 15 million individuals, in 15 million households. Kholiso, can I ask you to close off your camera because sometimes you move, and
I'm
so
really
if you can.
but I don't know, Ugusi, how did it even come to my camera like this? I'm really trying to switch it off.
Yeah.
Maybe let me get out and be re-invited again, please.
No, the camera is off now.
Is it off? Okay, all right.
Yeah, the camera is off now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that is fine. So, so in that instance, and Nigel, one of the reasons also, I think, Cashbill being a listed company, there was a bit of trepidation in terms of what communication gets sent out of there. What I can, obviously, the information that is available for anyone, I will just put it. I will attach it, I think, in the chat if I'm able to do that. Basically, the brief description of what Zakhelikhaya is and give you guys access to the housing plans that we have on offer. So those type of information, we're still free. And until I get the go-ahead to share every single thing, I'll be in a position to do that. So where I was, it is basically to say that if we only have 1.6 million registered bonds in this country, it basically means that there is an opportunity for 15 million more bonds to be registered in this country. And to take it further, from a Stats SA perspective, it is recorded that we are sitting at about 9% of people that contribute towards income tax. So the whole idea to design a housing subsidy program, and it is completely and reliant on bonds. It was unrealistic for those people that actually required the assistance and yet were not able to access bonds. It is for that reason then human settlements through the NHFC, the National Housing Funding Corporation, then changed the policy of housing subsidies from the FLISP model to now the first home finance. And with the first home finance, people now have the latitude to raise funding utilizing various means, personal loans, stokvel schemes, whatever, what it could be from personal savings. So there's a variety of ways in which people can actually access these loans. So, and this is where we then saw the opportunity, because we actually launched the Zakhelikhaya program at a time when it was still referred to as the FLISP model. And the results and the learnings from the program at the time, we're receiving a myriad of applications. And just to give you the statistics there, we were sitting with, out of say 10,000 applications, literally a handful. When I say 10, I'm not exaggerating, would qualify for a bond. And everyone else were desperately seeking for personal loans in order to form part of this, of this process. So we took it as a real welcome relief when other forms of funding, became available, for this subsidy. Now, another aspect of Zakhelikhaya, a lot of people may know the direct translation of what Zakhelikhaya is, and you can basically translate it as you wish. It's like building your own home. That offers empowerment, because we are guiding applicants through the process of building a home. We understand that you've got architectural costs. that are incurred. So a lot of people in this program don't even know. So if I want to build a house, where do I find an architect? How do I know that this architect indeed is an architect? And what is the process that is involved? It is for that reason that a customer then gets exposed to a number of building plans which have been customized. This is in its infant stage. And a lot of people are going to come into a cash bill store and say, well, I want a 200 square meter house. I want a 500 square meter house. I want a 1,000 square meter house. I've had people saying to me, well, in my area, I see people building a 1,000 square meter house. That is really ideally not our target market. I have to hone people back in and to say to them that our target market, these are the people that are earning 3,501 and up to 22,000 rand a month. So that individual is not looking for a 1,000 square meter house. We will get to a platform, to a phase where every size houses everyone will desire will be available. But for now, we are basically addressing a very, very important need. So the NHFC, when I actually went in our initial meetings, they wanted to take this product, which is first home finance, to those deserving people primarily in the rural as well as the township areas. And this is primarily where cash bill trades. That's where our core business is. So then we gave them a proposal to say, this is how we see we can assist you in that process. And what we then did, each and every single cash bill store was then registered on the NHFC portal. By the way, this entire process is something that is not exclusive to CashBuild. You yourselves, if you wanted to run your own similar program, you are able to go into the NHFC and register on their portal as someone providing this service on behalf of customers. You can do that with the NHFC. So by the mere fact that because CashBuild has such a wide footprint and on a national basis, it just makes sense for us to make it accessible. So in those areas, for example, where there is no NHFC office, where people are actually able to walk in and make inquiries, you can walk into a cash bill store and make such inquiries, and we're able to guide you and assist you, through the process. So all of our stores were then registered registered on the NHFC portal in order to enable the application process for subsidies. And over and above that, we then recruited an architect to draw 5 plans for us. We're starting with 5 plans. As I've mentioned earlier, is that there's going to come within anything between 12 and 18 months. There will be plans, a wide array of building plans that will be available. To any customer base, whether you qualify for a subsidy or not, there will be plans that will be available, to be utilized. And then we costed. Remember, our primary interest also, we are providers of, quality building materials, if I may say so. All of these plans then get costed. So a customer coming into the Zakhelikhaya program will be building a house at cost. Unlike going and buying a house from a developer that is already built, because the developer has to make margin out of this. So we are assisting a customer build, they are essentially building at a cost. I will tell you now one case study that we have honed in. This is our first customer. This is a customer that actually went into the CashBuild website and came across Zakhelikhaya. And he submitted an information form and then was directed to a CashBuild branch close to where he works. He went into the branch, he was shown these catalogs, and then the store manager went ahead to basically ask him, how much do you earn? He then disclosed that this is the amount of money that I earn. And he fell within the 3,501 and 22,000 bracket, We submitted the pre-approval on his behalf. Within 24 hours, he did receive notification that, yes, based on the information that you provided, you may qualify for a subsidy. We then proceeded to actually then submit an application on his behalf. That too was subsequently approved. This gentleman then went to Capitec and asked Capitec what he qualifies for. He was then qualified for 260,000. So when you take the quantum of his subsidy, approved subsidy, as well as that 260,000 from Capitec. So this individual ended up having at his disposal just over 300,000. With the 300,000, when you have a look at the bill of materials of the 80 square meter, initially he had actually wanted 110. He then looked at the design of the house. The 80 square meter ended up being suitable for him. That's what he opted for, because the 80 square meter also has a 3-bedroom. He opted for the 80 square meter house. The bill of materials were short of in the region of about 175,000. That's a bill of materials for the 80 square meters. So he's currently in the process of constructing his home. Now, this is an individual that had been saving to buy a vacant stand. And when the opportunity came for him to buy a vacant stand, he actually bought that vacant stand. And so the total cost that we have worked out for him to construct this 80 square meters, including the builder's fees, we're sitting in the region of about 450,000. We have had estate agents in the area to go and value on completion of this house, and the valuation on completion of the house is sitting at 1.2 million. Here is an individual that earns a salary per month less than 22,000, is actually able to amass, first of all, to build a house, but he can in turn put that house in the marketplace, sell it for that price, valuated price, settle his loan, and repeat the process. And this is actually what Njabulo intends to do. And he will be, I think, in the next 12 months, living in a fully paid up house without debt. Now, this Zakhelikhaya partnership actually now opens a lot of opportunities for people that have actually lost hope completely in owning a home. It was like, first of all, I don't have the expertise. You no longer need the expertise. You can walk into a cash-built environment, and then we can assist you through that process. And where does the opportunities lie from a Zakhelikhaya standpoint? We have identified that in the urban areas, people do not have land. And our customer base are people that do not necessarily frequent the likes of your private property, your property 24. That's not where they look for land. And it is unfortunate, because what then ends up happening, you find that in a lot of the townships, somebody that knows somebody, or someone is busy selling land, there is 20,000 rent, is 40,000 rent, you will get your title deed immediately. We all know that's not how when you don't buy land over a counter. There is a conveyancing process and procedure that happens. But unfortunately, the reality of the situation in our country, in the townships, unbeknownst to people, you cannot buy land and someone gives you some certificate called title deed. This is your property. That's not how things. So a lot of people are actually being taken for a ride. So, and this is where an opportunity lies for a lot of developers, people that are looking at just making vacant land available. So a lot of developers are obviously very much interested in doing the entire turnkey process. Then we are back to the Baldwin type of situation of houses that are now being sold. The customer is not part of it. So the empowerment part of it is then actually taken away from a person that actually wants to learn the process of building their own home. This person, so I wanted, one thing that I did forget to mention is the fact that the building plans that we have available at the moment, it is 40, 60, 80, 100, and 110 square meters. So it's a relatively small a startup house. Like I said, I have to keep on reminding people, these are beginners. because a person that would qualify and can afford a house above that, they probably know the way around it. They probably qualify for a bond, but this is not our target market. Now, coming to our partner Capitec, why Capitec? I can assure you, I have knocked in so many banking doors. And the market that we serve, or that we are serving with this product, it is a market that a lot of financial institutions really make a lot of the profits out of your personal loans, high interest rates, and all of those type of things. What Capitec has actually done is they have created a product called a purpose loan for home improvement. So, and the reason why they created it, when they looked at their book, at their debt and their loan book, it is when customers come into a Capitec and apply for a loan, and it is for a specific purpose, be it to buy a car, be it for home renovations and all of that, they said the impairment rate was actually very low. And some of the figures at the time were somewhere in the region of like 2% versus the average of impairment of about 8%. So it was one of the driving factors that actually led them towards developing this purpose loan for home improvement. So this was like actually a really perfect fit for us. So when you go into a Capitec to apply for a purpose loan, the arrangement that we have with Capitec, you need to bring in to the branch a loan. So that's what we've been doing over the since this relationship actually started in 2022. You need to bring in a quotation from CashBuild, and then on the quotation we actually specify, when the customer comes into a CashBuild to actually ask for a quotation in order for them to go and apply for the loan, we do ask them to specify how much of that in your quotation, how much do you require for a builder's fee? And then we specify on the quotation, the build fee is going to be, I don't know, might be 50,000, it might be 80,000 rand. When you arrive, and then we actually automatically send that quotation on your behalf to a Capitec branch with your details, and then Capitec will then make contact with you. They will process the application. When the person does qualify, that build fee is then paid to the customer directly. The remainder of the loan, the purpose loan, is then paid into CashBuild, so that the customer then utilizes those funds for the purchase, for the purpose of buying building materials towards their construction. Now, with Zakhelikhaya, when Zakhelikhaya was in its inception, not during the flip stage, when we started the relationship with Capitec, it just made sense. The partnership just made sense. The difference is it is for the complete, for the completion of the house. So we already had laid the groundwork with our partnership and relationship that we had with Capitec, and it was easy to then implement. And a lot of people are always asking about, the success of Capitec. Having worked with this particular bank over the past 2 years, I understand where they are, and I engage with many other banks on a very regular basis. It is about the passion that they have for their customer, the understanding of the customer base. So when I started working for CashBuild, and during my induction stages, when I would actually be in the branch and listening, I would be seated next to the BDO, and that stands for the Business Development Officer. At the time, we had a relationship with Nedbank. And so these BDOs were actually positioned inside a CashBuild store. I would listen to the interaction between the BDO and the applicant. And so face-to-face for the applicant was very important, because in most instances, language was a barrier. So our customers need that face-to-face. And it is something that technology often leaves a lot of people behind. So when our partner at the time, who was Nedbank, were changing the strategy and they were moving more towards digital, our customer base was left behind, because they needed the face-to-face. And we see this translating to a situation where when banks begin to close branches, Capitec opens branches, because the customer, interaction forms a very integral part thereof. So, and then, you begin to listen to what it is that customers, the challenges that our community face. And for me, when I initially went to propose Zakhelikhaya to our board, it just made sense. This is what the customers needs. It is something that has actually never been done before. And we are fully mindful of the fact that we will have, certain challenges in terms of we don't know what's going to come, but whatever it is that is going to come in terms of fulfilling this, we are ready to deal with those challenges head on. And another thing that I really wanted to address is the fact that I've been receiving a lot of DMs as it pertains to building materials, alternative building materials, and all of those type of things. And I have a very short answer to those people. Please take me to your house that you have built with these recyclable materials so that I can get a better understanding of these materials, how they actually function. And most of the time, I never hear back from these people that are doing this, because I will be remiss to forget where I come from myself in the townships. So for a lot of people, bricks and mortar matter. People have been saving up a lot of money to one day be able to afford a house that is built by bricks and mortar. So now that I have an opportunity to do so, even via Zakhelikhaya, now you are telling me I must use recyclable materials. So it is not for me to dictate to what people want, but our customers are telling us what they want. I have a passionate story about an architect and developer friend of mine based somewhere, I think around Ethel. And this gentleman decided to retire their domestic worker. I think it was in Mpumalanga, either in Mpumalanga or Limpopo. Built a beautiful 400 square meter house using some sustainable whatever materials. 6 months after the construction of that house, the domestic worker called this gentleman to say, I am mocked by my community members. They say I don't live in a house. They say my house is built out of plastic. And it didn't make sense to him. He would make frequent visits to go and just to get an understanding, but this is such a beautiful house. Within a space of 12 months, he says he had to go back and rebuild that house with bricks and mortar. So when I heard that story, if one would consider themselves woke, we care for the earth, we care for all of these type of things, it was preposterous. But why is it preposterous when all of us know exactly what happens in townships? A house is not a house if it's not in bricks and mortar. And we really don't have real proof of concept in terms of these materials. How durable are they? Is it a 40-year house? Is it a 20-year house? Is it a 10-year house? Okay, so, and also, now that the people have an opportunity to own their own home, why is the goalpost moving? Why are we then saying that people need it? We can build this house in 1 week. Let us use this material. Who decided that? You've got all departments, being developed in universities, in built environments where the people, whoever those people are, must be built houses with these recyclable whatever materials. So this is not what Zakhelikhaya is about. It's like really, really putting back dignity in people's lives. And on top of it, there's one very interesting part of it. Who's going to build those houses? Do we have people that are trained and certified to build those houses? So now people must wait for houses because now we need to train people on how to put up these materials. And these materials, not one standard materials, it's all sorts of, all sorts of recyclable things that are going to need expertise, to be built. Then it's going to add another factor towards the delay. And I've had a lot of case studies whereby the costs are not necessarily any cheaper to bricks and mortars. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking for quite a while, and I will apologize because I've tried to present Zakhelikhaya, and I always go off script because Zakhelikhaya is a love project of mine, and I'm absolutely honored to one day see it, to eventually see it materialize. And I think on that note, and I know some of you may have missed the introduction in terms of explaining exactly what Zakhelikhaya is and how the pieces come together, the relationship between Cash Build and the NHFC, as well as Capitec. Some of you may have missed it. I will definitely make that document available to Nigel, and I'm sure Nigel will definitely share it with you. I will also share the brochures with yourself, for ease of reference. And I think at this particular point, I will definitely open the floor up for whoever may have questions. I will let you know, there's quite a few people in the meeting, and I'm not able to see who's going to raise their hands, who's not going to be able to raise their hands. Nigel, I think at this point, I'll actually hand it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Mimi, for that concise explanation of what Zakhelikhaya is all about. And as we well know, you do go off script because you are so passionate about what you're doing. And it's exciting because it's always great to hear somebody so excited about what it is they are, so passionate about what it is they're doing. So thank you for that. And with that, I would request that anybody who has any questions raise their hand, and then we will allow you to open up your mic and ask your question. If you're too shy and you don't want to actually speak, there is a chat box that you can put your questions in. I see there was already one question that came. Thank you for this very informative insight. Kindly share the guideline for compliance. As Mimi has said, she will definitely do that. And then I will share that to the group. Tilda Jack, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Thank you very much. Greetings to everybody and our lovely panelist, Mimi. I just want to say I am so super excited about this program. I am a real estate agent based in Cape Town. I became a real estate agent due to unfortunate event whereby I bought a house and then I found out later after all the monies were paid to the lawyers and everything else that I bought the house to an unknown existence owner. And then I converted that experience into a positivity. And then I embarked on the journey on how to become a real estate registered PPRA. And then in this space of real estate, and then I have picked up that you do quite a lot of consulting of people who bought a place, not having, going through the conveyancing, issues of title deed and all of that. So even though I'm an agent, but I think my passion has been directed more on assisting people in our community, especially into the township, in educating them what is it that is needed in order to buy or to sell your property. So I am really excited for this engagement. That is all I wanted to share. So I'm super excited and I'd like to know more about Zakhelikhaya. I think we will be able to assist quite a lot of people who just want to own their first home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hilda. I wanted to mention that we actually work with quite a few estate agents. And the reason why a lot of estate agents are interested in Zakhelikhaya is primarily they're educating people on Zakhelikhaya, but they know they feature mostly in areas where they know there is a scarcity of land, of vacant land. So when they educate customers and the customers say, well, I actually need a piece of land, then the estate agent is actually at hand to direct them. And they continue. So for them, it's almost like a hook, towards their businesses. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Thank you.
That is true. And thank you, Tilda, for that. Anybody else, just raise your hand. Mimi has commented in the group there that it's specifically targeted towards rural. Let's just see the comment there. Program is targeted towards rural and township. Zandile has asked, I would like to know if you fund people in rural areas as well. And the answer is definitely yes, because it is specifically targeted to people in rural and township. All right.
So
Are there
Nigel,
any other questions? Yes.
So Nigel, if I can just one important aspect that I actually wanted to mention. Incidentally, I was made responsible for CSI in Cash Build. So what that entails is that through Zakhelikhaya also, we are in a position to actually uplift local economies. We've just funded a brick making plant in Mpumalanga area. So this individual will actually be selling, will be a preferred, he goes into a preferential procurement from at least a BEE perspective, and will be supplying bricks also to Cashville stores very close to his factory. So opportunities abound, some of them definitely, if you are previously disadvantaged from a CSI perspective. So there's a lot of opportunities that Zakhelikhaya actually opens up for people. I was approached recently by a company that is wanting to put together a portal for registered builders. So they'll be doing a proposal. However it is that you think you can fit in, I'm more than willing to listen.
All right, so that you don't get bombarded with requests for funding, Mimi, I would ask that people rather come through me, and then I will vet whatever they're proposing first.
Absolutely.
Before it gets sent to you, because otherwise you're going to get bombarded with 3,000 applications for stuff. So I am going to ask people to rather communicate with me, and I will then forward those proposals through to you, because I've got a team that can look through those proposals and vet the ones that would qualify for your CSI program.
Yeah.
Okay. Lebogang has asked, Mimi, please advise on council or municipal approval for building plans. Does the Zakhelikhaya business model assist with this? And furthermore, is there assistance in building design plans?
So I actually just came off, the line with the architect. So we are doing road shows. Hopefully, by the end of the 6 months, we should have covered each and every single municipality in the country. The reason why we want to do that, when you get a Zakhelikhaya plan that gets submitted to a council, we would like for it to be expedited. Efficiency is particularly important. I mean, all of these municipalities, they've got KPIs in terms of extending housing, towards their communities. So we would like to obviously encourage people, if you're going to utilize one of our plans, already there is a draftsman at hand that will put it, on your SG diagram and submit it on your behalf. Now, that will be the arrangement between yourselves as the buyer and that draftsman or architect, helping you with the municipal approval, process. So we are doing that road shows. We are going to start with a bigger, where the demand is. For example, in KZN, contrary to, we know that the demand in the urban side is limited due to land restrictions. But when you start moving towards your Mpangeni and all of those other areas where we trade, where the chiefs are actually giving people permission to occupy and land is available, it is easier for us to actually expedite the process. We'll be starting with those municipalities in each of the provinces and assisting, customers in that manner. So just to read the question furthermore, is there assistance in building design plans? That we don't get into that unless if I'm not, I don't understand the questions. So we make building plans available for people that want to get to participate in Zakhelikhaya.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the
Yeah.
answer there would be that you'd have to, Lebogang, you'd have to engage with your architect. If you need assistance with that, the EDPF program does have a range of architects across the country that can support, and then present your plan. So you can choose one of the existing plans that Zakhelikhaya does provide. The architect obviously has to go and have it approved for your particular site. Zakhelikhaya doesn't do that. You need to do it through your own architect.
Thanks so much, Nigel. But you're saying Zakhelikhaya has got architects.
Yes.
No, EDPF does.
Who,
Yeah.
sorry?
EDPF, our organization. So you can
EDPF.
contact me,
Okay,
and
okay,
I will
fine.
put you into contact with somebody in your area. Okay.
Okay, fine.
But
So
I'm
the
sure if you go
yeah.
to your cash build close to your place,
Yeah.
they will probably also be able to advise you on architects in the area.
Okay, fine.
Lebogang, this is specifically if you want your own design. However,
Yeah.
with our existing plans, we do have, an architect that we work with to assist you with the submission and putting it on your SG diagram and all of those. But if you are looking for something also, to design your own thing, that is something that obviously Nigel can assist you with.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. All right, then the last question on the chats here. Hi, Mimi, can I participate as a land seller? Example, subdivided urban that they can then develop for potential sale to people that qualify.
I think the same applies also. I think, Stembi, so if you can have a chat with Nigel and obviously inform him exactly where it is that you are located, and then we will direct you to the closest cash build. So when a customer is coming in and they're desperate for land, absolutely, we actually prioritize developers, someone who's got access to a vacant stand. We prioritize them. We really market, Zakhelikhaya in that cash build because there's land that is available.
Okay, so basically the bottom line is go to the closest cash build to you and have a chat with the staff there, and they will guide you through the process. And if they can't help you with anything in particular, you contact me, and then I will be able to assist you further through our vast network of support services. So anything from architects, quantity surveyors, town planners, to lawyers and accountants and tax consultants, anything you need. If you can't get it at your cash build, just talk to me and we'll make a plan.
So here's something. I think the comment here that I see here, Nigel, is that recently, remember, guys, not only was it necessary for me to sell this product to our internal staff members, one of my colleagues actually referred their domestic helper. The poor domestic helper has been trying to build a house forever. And there's always skepticism. Does this work? Does this not work? And I'm telling you, I referred this domestic worker to their closest cash build. When they received not only pre-approval, their approval, she called me in tears saying that I never thought I was going to finish my house. She gets to do that now. So this is real. I always say there is not chances are that if I were to take a poll, 90% of participants in this platform, you have a domestic that qualifies. Chance I can bet my bottom for as long as you pay them the minimum wage 3,501, they qualify.
Yeah. Okay, so that answers Ntembu's question, but Pumi had a hand up for quite a while. So Pumi, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question to Mimi?
Good afternoon, Nigel. Good afternoon, Mimi, and all the participants. My name is Pumi Ngobo. I'm based in KZN. I actually wanted to ask a question, but it was already answered by Mimi with regards to rural developments, because I stay in KZN, and the place I'm at the moment is a rural land. So the question was answered, but I'm interested in what Mimi has just mentioned about doing road shows. She mentioned also our province, and Empangeni is quite closer to where I am, even though it's a bit far away. But I also wanted to mention to you, Mimi, if it would be possible, for example, myself, to participate in those roadshows, particularly because we understand and know KZN very well. You are mentioning now Empangeni. Empangeni is about 4 hours away from where I am, but where I am, there is a lot of land which is managed and controlled by chiefs, as you did mention in your presentation, and that is what you want to work with. So we can, perhaps form a team in terms of those roadshows. We have got big municipalities like eThekwini, we have Umgungundlovu where we are. As I say, we have got connections with the chiefs where we can be able to assist as well as residents in these specific rural areas. You know what I'm saying? Because education, as we are saying now, mentioning roadshows, is going to help a lot of people who are not even aware of such projects taking place. You know what I'm saying? As you come visit KZN, you will see the land, the vast land that is available here. Next to where we are, we have got Campertown, and there are already developments that are taking place. So I was very excited when you mentioned about roadshows in the municipalities. So I would really want to participate in such roadshows. Another thing is about the supply to cash build stores. I think if I'm not mistaken, Zakhelikhaya, your project Mimi. I wanted to find out in terms of supplying, if you can assist with regards to letters of intent, because at the moment I'm currently engaging with what is this IDC, because of this very fact that I'm mentioning now, this huge land that people are flocking in order to build their new homes and stuff like that. So if something like that can happen, I would really appreciate it, Mimi, in terms of perhaps you assisting me as a company in terms of letters of intent or commitments, so that I can be able to get assistance from the IDC, because they are indeed willing to assist. But without these undertakings, they won't. Thank you very much.
So when it comes to being a supplier, as an example for cash build, that unfortunately has to follow a completely different process. Through our CSI, we get, one would have to submit an application and a proposal. That's what we review and then qualify a person. And then, so it has to follow that process. And then once you've been through that process and, your application happens to be approved, is I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I get at least 100 applications a day. So, and that we sift through it, and just to make sure that it actually does fall within, our policy in general from a CSI perspective. Now, the roadshows that you mentioned is the roadshows that we will be doing are specifically engaging the councils and speaking to the council in terms of what we are doing. We've started that already. I've been to at least 10 of these municipalities. And also just bear in mind, I may live in Johannesburg, but we have at least 20 stores in KZN. And the bulk of them are actually in the different rural areas. So we are very familiar with the nuances of areas where we trade. So if you want to somehow add value towards a project, the different area managers, for example, that we have, are more than happy to engage and find out, from you and how and if you can definitely, work, with the area. And we've got a lot of areas there. We have at least 4 different areas in the KZN area. So yes, the opportunities are there, but I mean, you need to engage and then agree in, how we are going to engage. So when it comes to, we are very much aware, because we trade, Cashbuild trades primarily in rural and township areas. We are very much aware of your Ngonyama Trust. We've actually going to be meeting with them very soon to tell them about Zakhelikhaya, and in terms of how they can assist, people that are, allocated land. So there's a lot of things that we are already engaging on, with this project. But if you feel that you are able to add value, you are more than welcome to speak. I'm happy to give the details of the different area managers in the different cash bills around the country.
Okay, guys, we are
Thank
running
you,
out of
Mimi. Thank
time.
you. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure, Pumi. Yeah,
There was
so
a question. There was a question here, Nigel.
yeah, I see. There are
Regarding a
3 more
payback.
questions actually. Payback model for the subsidy. It's a subsidy, so you don't pay back a subsidy. It's a grant. You get it for free. But there are certain qualifying criteria, which question number 3 actually the answer to that also. There are certain qualifying criteria, and if you are considered a second-time buyer, you don't qualify for the first home finance.
Yeah.
You can still potentially, I don't know, Mimi, if you must maybe just clarify, potentially still go through the Zakhelikhaya program and get funding from Capitec, but you
Yes.
won't get the first home finance because you've
Correct.
already qualified previously.
Correct. That's really, really correct. So just because you don't qualify for a subsidy doesn't mean that you cannot participate. If you are looking at building a house and you can arrange your own funding, we're more than happy to assist you, put you in touch with Capitec. Remember, Capitec recently acquired. Well, they actually processing, and if you're looking for a bond, Capitec actually works with what do you call it? What is that funding house? That
SA Home Loans?
SA Home Loans, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
SA Home Loans.
Yeah, it's either Uber, SA Home Loans, or Better Bond, one of those 3, but I think it's SA Home Loans.
It's definitely SA Home Loans. It's definitely
Yeah.
SA Home Loans.
Yeah, so to answer those questions, you can only qualify if it's your first time you're buying in terms of first home finance for the subsidy. But you, regardless of whether you go subsidy route or not, you can still come through the Zakhelikhaya program by getting your products and so on from Cashbuild, the closest one to you, and then qualify for a facility through Capitec and or SA Home Loans. So the process, you can still get funding and you can still get the product. It's just that if it's your second time around, you won't get the subsidy again. You can only get the subsidy once. And there are certain criteria. You've got to be between 3,500 and 22,000. You've got to have at least one dependent. You don't have to necessarily be married. You can be divorced, but if you as a couple had previously applied for funding, then after your divorce, you can't apply again because you've already been approved before. So those are kind of criteria. You can go to the first home finance website. And if you want the website, I can send it through the group. Then you can go check what the criteria is for you to qualify. Okay, guys, I think our time is up, so I'm not going to allow any more questions. What I'm going to do, though, is if you have any more questions, either WhatsApp me directly, or if you want the group to benefit from it, message on the group. And then if I don't have the answer, I will check with Mimi and then get the answer from her and then post it on the group for everybody's benefit. Okay, but I think for now, there Mimi's just posted the first home finance link. It's nhfc.coza/finance-solutions. You just have a look on the chat there. I'm in fact going to copy it out and then I will post it on the group. Copy link. All right, so I'm going to post it on the group. So guys, thank you very much for your time. Mimi, especially to you, it's an absolute pleasure having you on board. And I will be in contact again if there are any more questions from the group, and I will let you know as soon as. Oh, I see, Mimi, you've also sent the email address for the CSI program. So
Correct.
anybody who wants to apply for funding through the CSI, there's also the link there. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for your time. We will talk again very soon. Cheers,
Thank
everybody.
you, Nigel, for organizing. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. Mimi, I think if you want to shut down the meeting because you are the manager of the meeting. Okay, looks like Mimi's actually disappeared. Ben, are you still there?
Lessons on how to use a MacBook. In this transcript, yeah, stop.
It's bizarre. I thought